Welcome to the Meet the Rebuttal for August 1st, 2016. I just want to say happy birthday, Mom. I don't know how old you are. You stopped counting at 32 when I was like 12 or something. So I love you, Mom. Thanks for bringing me into the world. Anyway, I'm Zero the Unwise, also known as Ed from Zero Plays Games, joined with my co-host Crimson Rose from Crimson Rose Game, and
Hello.
Linz from Not Quite Nerds.
Hey guys.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well?
Good, 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 good. So we have a decent lineup, I would say, for tonight set up. Let me clear my throat. I had some pizza and it's killing me. First on the docket. Oh, Angry Hippie Lady's in the chat. Hello, Hippie Lady. Look at that. We got working webcams this week. First on the docket, VR. And do you have the size that it takes? Earlier this week, PlayStation VR's room requirements, space requirements for their PlayStation VR headset and camera were released, and people were shocked to hear that it takes 60 square feet of clear space. They're saying you need to set up your camera around your TV or whatever direction is going to be forward because you're going to be wearing a headset. But the camera needs to be centered and have 2 feet on each side. The camera is 2 feet wide. And then you have to have 9.8 feet behind you of just free space. So you're talking 6 by 9.8 feet. And people say, what? This thing's $400. It's $400. I don't have, that much free space in my living room. I mean, what are you going to do? Push your couch against the wall? I mean, I know my living room living room might be 60 square feet. Let's see here, the Vive, which has multiple cameras for the headset. There's 2. That requires a little bit less space, 5 by 6.5 foot area, so 32.5 square feet. The Oculus Rift, good old standby, the first to release, requires pretty much no room. You can sit in a chair, so as long as you're not banging your head going side to side, you can use it. But it does have room scalability, which allows it to be used in a 15 by 15 or 225 square foot space. Do you have what it takes, Linz, for size?
I would have what it takes for size if I moved every piece of furniture out of my living room. Barely.
What about you, Crimson? I know you just got yourself a
Nope.
new place. No, he says.
Nope. No way.
Do you think this is going to limit who is actually going to purchase the PlayStation VR?
What I'm wondering is how many people are actually going to pay very close attention to the size requirements, and how many people are going to try to just get away with using less space.
Exactly.
Really? See, I mean, I've seen the vines, I've seen the gifs where people run into walls, or the small children run into walls and things while wearing virtual reality headsets. And
Yeah.
some of them are funny, but some cause major damage to both property and person. But I don't see it in my head. Once releasing these specs before the PSVR even hits, because PlayStation is saying, hey, this thing is going to be, it's our moneymaker for the year. And you don't think anybody's going to second guess whether or not they want to buy one?
I mean, sure, there's going to be a number of people who second guess. There are always people who read the labels and read the instructions And then there are those people who do put their toasters in the sink. I mean, it's
Toasters.
I
in the
think most
sink.
people are going to be like, I want this and I can afford this, and they're just going to
Mhm.
buy it, and they don't really care that
Right,
they don't have enough room to play it. If you can
right.
afford it and you buy it, you're just going to
Because
get away with it.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the alternative is, oh, I have to buy a new house so that I can have this VR setup. Probably not going to happen. So I think that I would not be surprised if pretty soon we started seeing YouTube videos come out of people who have set it up in a smaller space and start discussing the pros and cons and the consequences of not having enough space, or how to, trick the perception of the camera, or whatever the case may be.
See, okay, what about augmented reality? Would you be more willing to purchase something at a higher price, say a HoloLens, when it does come out? They're saying that's going to be what was the last number on it, Crimson? I can't quite remember. Was it I know it was in the thousands. Was it 1,500 or was it $3,000 for a HoloLens?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Let's see if I can find it real quick. But I mean, obviously, once that releases, there's going to be competition for the HoloLens. But do you think $3,000 for the developer kit? So do you think that maybe some people will consider it if they've got room to buy? Let's say they're brand new to it, so you've got to drop money on a PlayStation 4.5 and a PSVR just to get started into it. Or they don't own a PC, so you're looking at building a VR-capable PC and then an Oculus or a Vive. The Vive is $800, the Oculus is $600, so they're comparable once you get the technology behind it, a VR-capable PC to a HoloLens. And do you think maybe there will be a market for just going complete AR instead? That way you know what you're tripping over.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that once you get into that price range, you either have enough to be comfortable with that large of a purchase, or you're putting on a credit card. So, if space is a really big issue and money is not a really big issue, then augmented reality would absolutely solve that problem. You know what else would? Where did they show that thing that looked like a little trampoline, like the '80s jogging trampoline,
Oh,
with the thing around it?
the treadmill looking thing that
Yes.
practically every movie that involves virtual reality's got one.
Yeah, I think that that with the way that I am, I'm really impressed that virtual reality has started to move forward, and I think that it probably will continue to. But I would say I probably will not be purchasing anything for myself until I can put that little '80s trampoline in my living room and actually run down the street in a game. So yeah, that's about where I am on the scale of I like new technology.
And see, I can't afford any of it, so I'm just gonna be here like Pokemon Go. I guess I'll play this even though I don't want to. So
See, I don't know. I debated before I upgraded my video cards because I'm an idiot. I debated on buying this new chair behind me and two video cards, or one HTC Vive, the VV, and one video card, which, I could have done, what was it, Google Lightworks, and a couple other games. I would have been able to be in VR, but I did not have the room required for it. My office is quite packed, so 5 by 6.5 feet. I don't have it.
Yeah.
and if you live in an apartment, then that space you don't have, and that's if we want to go with facts, most young people are going with apartments over owning a house at right now where we are. So a lot of us just don't have the space for it if we're in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that so far, within the Bottle Rocket Gaming Group, there's only been one household, two households that have purchased this so far, and it is Seshi and RG and Viesti.
House
have
Nexus.
one.
Yes.
House Nexus has got one, and Keurig has one. And Keurig has actually shown it on video, and it looks like he took his living room and just emptied it of all belongings. It's just this empty room that echoes when he walks into it. I don't know if it was a game room or like a rec room or something, or if he literally emptied his living room, but it's just a completely blank slate.
While we're still on VR, Linz, I know you play Doom,
Yes.
and Doom is capable of Oculus Rift compatibility as well as Vive compatibility.
Uh-huh.
Have you considered yourself to maybe want to try that?
Absolutely. I mean, if I had the space and I wanted to drop the money on a VR kit right now, Doom would be the top of the list for what I would want to play. I absolutely want to chainsaw some demons in half in VR.
Oh, while on that note, I'm trying to. I'm walking around it here. I'm dancing around it, and I will get your input on it as well, Crimson. I'm dancing around the market demand for VR as a Let's Player. As a Let's Player, Crimson, do you personally think that people would watch if you were playing in VR? I know I personally, my own opinion, do not care for the Oculus games or the Vive games as a viewer. I don't like to sit and watch the game played. How about you?
As a viewer, Let's Player, I feel that I like the traditional way. However, the way I've seen Markiplier do it is he's in game, but he also has a side camera of him full body where you can see all his stupid reactions. And I feel I really like that. But I think there is a market for it once certain games. Right now, we've got your tester games, let's try this out. Like once you start getting like Doom and whatnot, I think people want to see that, especially if they can see the actual person playing it at the same time, because their reactions are going to be much more crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see this especially applying to games like Doom and any other horror game that already elicits a reaction. Like I've said many times, I think when you're a Let's Player and you're doing a horror game, a face cam is just like, it's almost necessary because people want to see you jump and crap your pants. So, to be able to take that experience and put it in VR and have people see you literally crap your pants, that is quality entertainment.
Right, quality entertainment. Whereas I wouldn't want to see like Super Mario Maker in VR.
Right.
There's no point.
Right.
That doesn't add to the experience.
Yeah,
Right.
But I do agree that the games that are out right now, the virtual coffee shop, virtual office, stuff like that, I cannot watch them. It bores the crap out of me.
So you're saying that if you were to play it, even though it bores you, if you found one that you really liked, do you think viewers would continue to watch? I personally don't see somebody watching me do that stuff. Yes, even though they can see my body moving around, and I don't. Oh my gosh. Hi, Stephanie. My boss is here talking about. Yes, yeah, so see now, usually Zero brings up poop. Good job.
Yeah, well, I knew it was going to happen anyway, so I figured I would do it for him.
What's an interesting little bit, you're talking about, your Let's Play, your YouTube, and how this all fits in. I think the something you have to recognize is with VR, you're not really going to be able to stream it the same way. You cannot interact with your chat.
Yeah.
End of story. So that's something to recognize for people that are solely on Twitch. Unless you have someone there, hey, I'm just going to read the chat to you, it's not going to happen.
Right. Well, I mean, you could run a script with a text-to-speech thing, but then you're trying to focus on a game. Mm-hmm. You're trying to focus on a game while you've got some monotone computer-generated voice reading back to you, and of course it's going to try to pronounce everyone's username as well as
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, I see what you're getting at. See, so maybe the demand for VR is there, but not in demand enough. I mean, you've got size constrictions, you've got content creation constrictions. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to be in a room, even if I couldn't see what was on the screen, and watch people play something in VR, like Doom. Could you imagine sitting around watching your friend just completely drunk trying to play Doom
Oh Lord.
in VR? But yeah. Once again, guys, the pricing is out for all three. The Vive and the Rift are on the market. The PSVR coming out, what is it, end of this month. $399. Just make sure you have a spare 60 square feet in your living room, or a spare 32 feet in your living room or office for your Vive. Have you played the huge games that use VR in Las Vegas? Have either of you guys been to Las Vegas? I personally have
Yes.
not lately.
Lately.
Not lately. I used to, and fly out there for $99, and then wonder how you're gonna get home because you came out there with a couple grand, and you're like, I'm gonna come back rich. Next thing you know, you're going, Mom, can you come get me?
Of my many vices, gambling is not one.
Well, there are big VR games in Las Vegas, and apparently they draw a huge crowd just to watch people trip over themselves. See, I am down for that. But I think I would have to be there in a physical aspect. I do love watching the videos of people like accidentally freaking out and throwing their remote through their television or knocking over vases and watching little kids run into walls while we're in a headset. But it loses some of it because I mean, if I could watch that video in virtual reality, sure. But just watching it on a screen, it loses something for me.
I think it just depends on the person, depends on the platform, and right now VR's brand new. I mean, it's going to change. So
Right. Well, on to our next topic for tonight. Consoles. According to a GameSpot piece, GameSpot News, an op-ed piece, the average lifespan of a video game console has gone from 7 to 8 years, which is about right, down to just over 3 years. And if you think about it, that is true. Next gen, current consoles, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, both came out in 2013, quarter 3 of 2013. And they're already being replaced slowly by the PlayStation Neo and the PlayStation 4.5, as well as the Xbox One S and the Xbox Project Scorpio. It gives them a lifespan of about 3 years. Now, this major change has basically because when the products were rolled out, 4K wasn't really a thing. I mean, it existed, but it wasn't a readily available thing. And these new consoles can game in 4K as well as support virtual reality. But how long before we're getting a new console every year or two, do you think? I'm saying maybe 5 years from now. I mean, technology can only grow so fast before things become completely outdated. Do you remember when you could hold the whole world on a 3.5-inch floppy disk, 1.4 megabytes, and it was huge? It was huge. An entire year's worth of schoolwork on it. The background image for this podcast right now is 12 megabytes. We have uploaded this stream alone right now. Let me do some math real quick. At 2,800K, we've encoded 35,000 frames. We've put up just over 310 megabytes on this stream alone tonight in 20 minutes. I mean, how soon before consoles just are rolling out as fast as cell phones, say?
Well, my thoughts on it is never go beyond any sooner than a 2-year lifespan, because VR is your great step up. From VR, where do you go? I don't really know at this point. We've always known, oh, we want VR, we want AR. This is something we've known for a long time, that this was a plausible thing. We've here. What is beyond it? I'm not really sure. So I don't see it really ramping up, because the eye, and with pixels, the eye can only see so many. You can trick yourself to see more, but we're hitting that cap. So I don't see, a huge leap in technology anytime in the next 5 years or so. But I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, it's easy to do in this podcast because we've got a general format. We're throwing darts at the wall around the subject, seeing what sticks. Linz, what about your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic for this podcast in particular, because we are primarily PC gamers. So we're used to replacing our video card every couple of years, and then, every 3 or 4 years we'll replace a processor, and then something else is going to be updated. Our machines are constantly evolving, and consoles just don't, that's not their world. It's an all-in-one box. So I know that this round of halvesy consoles that are not really the next, they're just an improvement on the current line, is an answer to some of the new technology that's come out in video games. I don't know if it will continue or not. I think that if there is not a reason for people to buy a new console, I don't think the market is going to support them coming out every 3 to 4 years with not really anything new to offer. Cell phones is different. Cell phones is kind of like a status thing for a lot of people. They have to have the new iPhone. They've got to have the new Samsung S series, whatever. And they carry them in their pockets all the time. So that's, it's it just seems different to me somehow. I don't know.
And the price point, I mean, I can't afford these kind of consoles every couple of years. And not only that, you've got to think, all right, consoles, plus now we've got VR. We've got a lot of outside your console things that you need to own or have. And when you get a new console and you got to get a new round of these peripherals and whatnot, I can't afford that. I cannot afford that. Every 5 years, 6 years, sure, why not? But, and the fact is, they've got the technology to build insanely amazing things, but with phones, you trickle out things. You don't put everything that you have in back storage of your tech into the next thing. So,
Right. For phones, they wear out faster. People drop them. People, get them wet, all kinds of things. There's a reason that the market for phones exists the way that it does. And I just don't know that the market exists for consoles in that way.
I was about to say, I'm not disagreeing with you guys in any way, shape, or form. Even Angry Hippie Lady is saying that she doesn't foresee this being an ongoing thing. It's just to roll out VR-ready consoles. But, Lynn's made the point of upgradable components, with us being PC gamers, primarily. But the Steam machine, which is basically a console... It is basically a console, however, it's built like a PC. There are changeable components on it. Is all but dead to the world. Do you think that might be because, Steam OS didn't really take off the way they were hoping? Or because people said, instead of spending $700 on this, I'm going to go buy a console, and now they have to come back to buying another console. Where are all these used consoles gonna go to?
Crash.
Console hell. You know,
There's a level of purgatory for each
Yeah.
console, and you got Sony here. You're not so bad. Then you got your Microsoft, your Xbox. You got your Steam OS kind of stuff. You got Nintendo at the pit.
yeah,
Nintendo at the
yeah,
pit,
just
yes.
literally in the lake of fire.
Well, the original Game Boys are probably still down there, and you know what? They're swimming in it. I mean, those things are practically indestructible. But yes, Nintendo is probably not free from this either. They don't release consoles very often, but the NX is supposed to be a game changer. What was the last Nintendo console before this? The actual console? Was that the Wii?
The Wii U. The Wii U is its own console, and that came out November of 2012.
In November of 2012. So that's 4 years. So that's still hitting the 4-year life cycle.
Yeah. I mean, as far as Steam OS goes, I'm not sure if I'm surprised or not that it didn't take off. It was almost like an in between market of, a step up from consoles, a step down from PCs. It seems logical that there might be people that fit into that category of, I don't really have this boss gaming PC, but I would like something that is a little bit better than the Xbox.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more booty behind it than the Xbox.
Yeah, but I guess if that market exists, it's a small market.
A niche.
I mean, a niche market. You can get a gaming PC for $700 or $800. It's not going to be a fantastic one, but is it going to perform as well as the Steam machine? I don't know. Consumers probably don't either.
Right. But yeah, it's a thing. Consoles. I mean, one GameSpot editor had said they're going from 7-8 years of worth down to 3 to 4. This round is showing it, but it's 4 years after the last generation of consoles rolled out. Pretty much everything is running on x86 architecture, though. They haven't released what the NX is going to be running yet for system architecture. But mind you, us PC gamers, we are used to this architecture, x86. It is your base architecture for computers anymore. I am an unprofessional streamer. That was my phone.
Hello?
Hello. I just think that consoles are going to have interchangeable parts, and they can make a lot of money doing this. Honestly, they want to oh, here's your Xbox, but if you want to have the Xbox card, this or an Xbox card that's better. And I know one of the companies has come out and said, well, we're not going to do this, but they're going to have to realize that they're going to have to do this. And also, I worry that, okay, so we got to make new consoles because we have to match VR. I worry that when the consoles come out, there's going to be problems that were not foreseen because they were rushed out like a AAA game, and we have to meet these quotas like a AAA game, and they're going to launch, and there's going to be some unforeseen issue. And what then? Replace the console? What then? I feel like this is going to happen to one of the three companies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree completely. And because everything is concealed inside a case, there are no changeable components. They can't just, send out in the mail to every registered person that happens to fill out their warranty card or something like that a hot fix,
Right.
Yeah. You can't say, oh, here's your new GPU and a little tube of goo to make sure it doesn't overheat.
And that would be easier for Sony and Microsoft, whereas with Nintendo, okay, it came from Japan. Guess what? I can't speak Japanese. Translation between the two languages is not easy, as well as with Xbox and Sony, they have these these big machines where the NX is going with this handheld console, and okay, if it's broken, it's broken. You're not getting into that thing.
Right.
Right. With special triangle screws and yeah. And hopefully it runs cartridges. That should take care of a big problem right there. But if it doesn't, Lord help us all. I I really want an NX. I still want a 3DS too, but, you know. Well, it is now half past the hour on the Minus the Rebuttal, or Meet the Rebuttal. What is this show called again? This is the second week. I
don't
can't even remember
know.
what we called the show. Is it Meet the Rebuttal? I think it's Meet the
don't know.
Rebuttal.
That's what it says on Twitch right now, so hopefully it's
It
hopefully that's what
it says
is.
one thing on Twitch and one thing on Twitter. It's okay.
It is what it is. It's our stream. Boy, is my face red. You don't usually see this because, well, I don't usually run a face cam on this channel. Linz, anything from the Not Quite Nerds camp coming out in the future? What have you been up to? It's been a couple of weeks since I talked to you.
Every time that Warped asks me this on the podcast, the answer is always the same. Dano and I are just doing whatever we want.
My goodness, that must be horrible.
It is such a different world from last year, posting 2 videos a day to just saying, you know what? I'm busy at work. He's busy at work. He's got a new job with a crazy schedule. We just, we couldn't really do that anymore. So we've kind of been, we play what's fun, and we record some of it, and other things we don't record. I mean, I'm like balls deep in Fallout 4 right now. I haven't recorded a second of it. I'm having the time of my life just being able to play this game and not have to worry about commentary.
How about you, Crimson? I saw you've got a new Pixel Piracy episode up as of today. Just a little bit ago it went live.
Yeah, doing the Pixel Piracies. I've neglected my channel a bit with this moving on, and I've put most of my time into Minus the Rumors. So, I forgot I had a YouTube channel for a while there.
I haven't done nothing. I ain't even gonna lie. Hippie lady and I are in the progress of playing Saints Row the Third. I played myself in the game a couple of hours the other night, and we decided I decided not to record any of it. I could have done a single like, hey, we're gonna go take over some gang territories or gang operations thing, and no, we did not. I did not record. I have not put anything up for 9 days. I've been focusing on Minus the Rumors' channel. Oh, speaking of Minus the Rumors, there is a big announcement as of today. Crimson, you want to talk about that one?
So Minus the Rumors has its own website now. We decided that to officially launch this, you can check out a video about it on our YouTube, but I would just recommend going to minusrumors.com. So there's an R team kind of talking about each member, your schedule, your links, a special thanks to, MQN has their own place. If you want to buy, some shirts and whatnot, if you want to buy some glasses from us, all those kind of things, it's all in one place now. MinusRumors.com. In the future, we'll be having our own blog, which, will greatly expand upon Minus the Rumors' role, and then a newsletter and all these wonderful things. But yeah, that was the thing that came out today.
Yes. All right.
You really should go check it out, because it's pretty pro. I looked at it on PC and on my phone just to make sure, because, I wanted to give honest feedback.
Huge. A huge good job, and a round of applause to Crimson Rose, master website developer. Be sure to check out the website, guys, and come back often, as there are still features that will be implemented, as he was mentioning. All right, time for our third and final topic of the night. Unless we can think of something else to rant and rave about and say, well, I read this, but what if? Movies. Video game movies. Not the book movies. I mean, we could talk about how Season 8 of Game of Thrones will be it. That was just released the other day, but
And it's delayed. It's delayed too.
It's delayed. It's delayed. Season 7's only going to be 7 episodes long. I am not happy at all about this. Having purchased HBO for Game of Thrones this season, yeah, maybe I'll just Netflix it up and watch all of it in one big weekend 2 years from now. Who knows? But yes, with video game-based movies like Warcraft and the upcoming Assassin's Creed starring my man Michael Fassbender, and announcements for a Life is Strange live-action movie, what is your general reaction to these kinds of movies? Are you looking forward to them, or do you hope that they don't ruin it for you?
No, neither actually, because I have to let you guys talk for this one. I don't watch a lot of movies to begin with, and I don't see any of the game-based movies that are coming out as things that I'm looking forward to. I haven't seen many in the past, and I don't have any that I'm looking forward to in the future. So that's kind of my take on it.
Lynn's is looking forward to the Dark Tower series movies, especially The Gunslinger. I know I am too. Oh, and The Cell, or Cell. Stephen King is a god. Stephen King is definitely a thing right now. I know that I particularly liked the Doom movie, but I used to play Doom back in the day, and let's face it, it wasn't procedurally generated or anything like that. I know that the Super Mario Brothers movie from the 90s completely, and I do mean completely, utterly destroyed my outlook on that entire game. Just because of the way that they ruined it in the storyline of the movie, basically. I have a feeling that procedurally, games that are procedurally generated, if you have played them, you've developed an attachment. Maybe there's multiple endings, something like that. I have a feeling that there's going to be a loss, or there will be a disconnect watching that kind of stuff. What about you, Crimson?
I guess. I mean, anytime a new video game comes out, the first thing I do is basically go on YouTube and try to find all the cutscenes, because it's basically a movie. I mean, it really is. But now when it comes to video game movies on the big screen, do I want to see it? Yes, if it's good, but I have yet to see one that was really good. So, you know, I'm hoping Assassin's Creed's going to be good. I don't think it will be. Warcraft was unless you were like a huge Warcraft fan, it was confusing.
It was confusing.
No one speaks of Super Mario Bros. The movie.
I mean,
but I want. Go ahead.
I'm gonna let you guys duke this one out. Y'all can see each other too.
I made him leave.
Oh no, he quit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you to Crimson Rose for building us a new Minus the Rumors website. How would you like to come sit in his chair? I'm going to be looking for a new host on Monday nights. No, he'll be back. He'll be back very shortly. Go ahead, Liz.
I was actually literally just going to make a joke, and it's going to fall flat now because there's too much build up to it, you know, the anticipation and everything. I was going to say that I really thought that the Hitman movies were excellent, and then you guys were going to laugh, and it was going to be a thing, and, you know,
I forgot all about the Hitman movie.
Yeah, I know, everybody did, intentionally.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I played Hitman. I loved Hitman, and that game, that movie was just, ew. I'm on Rotten Tomatoes' website right now, looking at the movie that we will not speak of, Super Mario Brothers, because people don't speak of it, from 1993. Potato meter, 15%.
Wow.
15%. 28% of viewers liked it. The movie only grossed $20 million at the box office. I mean, for 1993, yeah, that's good money, but holy crap, what a turd that movie was. Crimson, come back. Crimson, we need you.
I mean, as far as whether or not it would ruin the game for me, I'm not sure that it would. Especially if I beat the game. You know, that experience is it's like you know, when I read a really good book and I go to see the movie and the movie kind of, you know, messes it up. It doesn't really change the book for me. It just makes me say, okay, the movie really sucked in comparison to reading the book. So yeah, I think it would be the same if they made a movie of Dying Light or Fallout or, you know, something else that I've been into recently, another Doom or a Soulless Project or whatever. I would probably see it. It would probably have something wrong with it. And he has forgiven me. And
Well, I don't know. He can't hear you yet.
I know that's why I said it then.
Oh.
What have I not forgiven someone about?
I said he has forgiven me. He has returned. But yeah, even if I didn't like it, it wouldn't change the game for me.
Yeah. See, oh, hey, here's another video game movie that Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you know, that game wasn't really open. I think my big thing is open worldy games. Anything that's open world, if you try to make a movie about it, there's so many different ways that you personally could have played the game. No, I mean, if you watched someone play the game, that's a different story. But open worldy games, not cool. And you, Hippie says Tomb
Hey
Raider.
Bob, it's me.
It is Lynn's, and
Just
Bob can't afford Turbo.
A certain games just translate better than others to the big screen. It's like Minecraft the movie would not translate well, whereas you would think World of Warcraft would translate because it's story and lore driven, so it lends itself to be adapted more easily. So
Right. Yeah, I thought that, and then I don't play World of Warcraft, but even as a non-player, I know that there's so much lore that I think that's where it got confusing. It's kind of like, you know, well, we've got to include this, we've got to include this, we got this whole history to cover, and then we have to have some action on top of it or no one's going to see it.
Right. See, I mean, obviously any game could be made into a movie. I mean, we have an Angry Birds movie out. As much as I don't like to admit that, I think you have to have the right amount of procedurally generated as well as fixed storyline with no actual plot. Scion is saying the Minecraft story mode movie. Now, that could work. That one could work. A general Minecraft movie? Probably not.
right.
A Borderlands movie? That would be amazing to see. But even worse is video games that get made from movies. Mad Max.
That's what I was about to say. Mad Max, man.
That game. I feel sorry.
I didn't play it because Dano played it. And I thought maybe I would. And then I saw Dano, you know, kind of like going downhill and getting frustrated. And I said, nope.
So here's an interesting thought. While I was gone, did y'all talk about Nintendo making their own movies now?
No.
So on the one of Nintendo's biggest news is they're going to start making movies in-house. And they're going to go which we haven't even spoken about, animated video game movies versus live action, really, because there's a huge difference between the two. You could do certain video games great as a live action and certain ones great as an animated. And Nintendo is going to stick to the animated for the most part. And their games, you could do them as an animated, and they could be good. They could be funny, lighthearted, Disney-esque, Pixar-like. Where if you try doing them live action Pokemon, they're going to suck.
Pokemon.
And speaking of that, the Pokemon the bid war just ended. Legendary is going to make a live action Pokemon movie. They got the rights to it. In my opinion, it's going to suck, but
I mean,
but I can still hope.
what is Crimson's opinion really worth anyway? I mean, we've got minus the theater, and he's obviously a cinephile. Crimson Sea is a lot of movies, folks.
Kitty dog.
Was that cat dog? Was that Bailey?
That was dog butt right there in the background. That was Buster.
Oh, Buster. But yeah, where was I going with this? There is a third genre regarding video games and movies, and that is live action movies about people playing video games inside a video game. Tron. Now, if Tron was an actual game, I think it wouldn't be really playable except for the whole light bike part.
Right.
You've got what's it called? Ready Player One, which is a new horror movie coming up, or The Call Up, which is a new live action movie where people are put into these suits that augmented reality themselves into a video game, but if you die in the game, you die in real life. It's a typical scenario. But if they were based on an actual game, do you think they would be even half watchable? Do you think there could be a market maybe for a game called or for a movie called Counter-Strike, where you've got 10 people that get put into a suit that end up in a map where if you die in the game, you die in real life? No? Dang. Whoa.
No.
What have we got Salt being thrown in our chat for? I wonder what a Dark Souls movie would be like, says Scion.
It would be over in the first 30 seconds.
Yes, you have died. You have died. Estrus Flask for the win. Y'all know that Estrus is like deer pee, right?
But like I said, I want to see good video game movies because they have storylines that are really good and they are a bit fresh than the completely recycled stuff I see in Hollywood. So I want to see something I'm familiar with, but that lends itself to be good. I think the problem is directors have directed so many of these movies that they don't know how to direct a video game movie. I think it takes a different kind of director to do that, and a company behind it to say, we're going to put in certain money and assets to make it good. And because to make a movie, it's just a completely different process, and I think that's where they've gone wrong so many times. And so I want to see it. I want to see it be good, but I have yet to see a video game movie that just blew my socks off. So
I have yet to see a video game movie that's just awestruck me as well. Even Need for Speed was a video game movie. It was based on the video game Need for Speed. Nothing like the game at all. Just utter. Okay, the only good part about that movie was Imogen Poots, but
Bob brought up in the chat the Resident Evil films, which I mean, that's, I would say, they're not all fantastic.
What you eating, Crimson? Chicken?
They're not all fantastic. But, but maybe one of the better examples of game to film adaptation.
Yes, one of the better examples of video game movies is definitely Resident Evil, but just like Resident Evil, it was terrible after 4.
Right. I mean, it stayed true to the game.
Right.
Right. So.
But yes, it was loosely based around the game, but based around the game enough that. Yeah. See, you'd have to do it like that. let me bring up my
Yeah,
topic
I
screen.
I think it does depend per, like, if you did a Halo movie that was strictly like you were basically recreating the cutscenes,
Mm-hmm.
I would pay to watch it 3 times over. But they won't ever do something like that. So
No, they wouldn't. What about the Life is Strange movie? It was just announced, so we can speculate all we want. We haven't heard any rumors. There haven't been any rumors released other than there's going to be a Life is Strange movie, live action movie. I've only seen a little bit of the game, just a teeny tiny bit. What do you think? Do you think they're going to actually just make the movie the way the game intended?
I'm not sure. I played a little of the game. I never finished episode 1 of it. It got a little repetitive for me, and I wanted to know the rest of the story, but I didn't actually want to play the game enough to find out what the rest of the story was. I feel like the market for that game is a younger one.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a teenage young adult kind of market, and I think that the market for the movie would be the same thing. So I might watch it and say, okay, this is a little too young adult for me. Like I was too late in life to enjoy Twilight or anything like that. So I'm not sure that I would enjoy this as a movie.
Do you know what kind of movie I'm pretty sure I would enjoy? And here's the thing: is we develop these emotional attachments with games. We love games. I would love for there to be an Outlast movie. Mainly because I love horror movies. I love that game. But if they tried to do it, if they, they would have to do the storyline in a certain way that, like, you're seeing before the reporter gets in there, or before. Yeah, I was about to say there should be a Far Cry movie as well, but I remember there was a Far Cry movie.
Outlast movie would be banned in like every country.
You think?
I think. Well, they'd have to water it down a bit, especially the new one. I think what video game movies, I want to see them on a different platform than just the theaters. I feel like video games lend themselves to be Netflix. I think either
Yeah.
a Netflix movie or a Netflix, hey, 12 episodes, make a game, instead of a gaming movie, make a gaming, like, 12 episode thing. I feel like that is your platform that would work great because you already have all kinds of things that are very similar to that already on Netflix, and I'd love to see movie/episodic things on there.
Yeah,
That, you know,
absolutely. I mean, 1 to 2 seasons of a game that already has an extended life cycle where you have too much material to put into a movie. So you're just going to suck the life of it out of it if you try to put it into a movie. But the content is so good. I absolutely think 10 episodes or, 2 seasons, 20 episodes could be made of something like Fallout or do Resident Evil better or something like that.
plus demographic. Netflix is typically your younger people.
Right.
Gamers are typically your younger people. It works out. Come on, someone pay me for that idea.
You saw it here first, guys. Crimson had the idea. Send all donation money to the donation link on the Minus the Rumors website. Tales of Zestria has an anime, says Pika Wubs. Game anime is a thing. Yes. Bob says that in his opinion, the best video game movie was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I loved that movie, but I thought that was a comic book movie. I don't remember there being a Scott Pilgrim video game, but there might have been. I know I read a couple of the comics. Comic book video games are their whole other thing. Like, graphic novels make great video games. Video games do not make great graphic novels. I'm waiting for a very hungry caterpillar. Could be a good video game. It would be a terrible book movie. Scion, yes, says he plays the heck out of the Scott Pilgrim video game. So apparently I was just under a rock. Are there any games that you think would make stupendously great movies, guys? Go ahead and shout them on out in the chat. Crimson, you got any games that you think would make an awesome movie?
No, what I would think would make a great, awesome movie, or I want it to be a great, awesome movie, because those are two different games.
Games that you think would make a great movie.
I've always said it. I think Halo would make a great movie if they stuck by the cutscenes and the lore. Halo has enough lore, enough background information, enough of a storyline. Plus, with being loosely based, you could kind of steer it in any way you want to lend itself to being a great movie if done professionally and not with cheap, graphics. I don't know.
Bob wants The Witcher as a Netflix miniseries, with or without the Blood and Wine DLC. It could be an 85-episode miniseries. 850-hour, 85-episode miniseries. Scion thinks Destiny would be a good movie. I can see that one. Pikawub says Overwatch would be a good movie. I think that would be too. I would like to see... I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Linz, you got any?
The concept of Dishonored, if they could add some dialogue, because, that whole silent protagonist thing in Dishonored.
Mm-hmm.
But, that might make a good movie. Of course, I want a long-running series of the entire history of Fallout and the whole Fallout universe. So...
Right.
See, I think The Forest, even though it's open world, there is so much lore to The Forest. I think The Forest could be a great movie.
That could be the next Blair Witch Project.
But
It could be.
That game plays so well right now, especially because it's still in alpha.
Mm-hmm.
There is no finite ending. So if they could rush that movie out even, who's to say that they're doing it wrong, that they're doing it right? Another one I think that could make a great movie is The Long Dark. The plot's already there. Plane crash.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're not going to beat the game. You don't beat the game. The only way you beat the game is to survive as long as you can. So you end up building this huge emotional attachment with the protagonist.
And then you run out of resources and die.
And then you run out of resources and die. Kind of like that movie. What was it with Emil Hirsch? North? One where he went to Alaska?
It's kind of like that book, I think, or short story that I think Jack London wrote. It's him. But
Oh, yeah.
same idea. A movie that I think, a movie I think would be great, from gaming to movie, which I didn't think, because I'm thinking, sequels and, whatnot. But the one I'm wearing, and I'll explain it, Zelda would, because you could basically make infinite movies, because each game does not build upon itself. For the most part, they are separate storylines completely. So you want to write a story like A, do it. Then when you make a sequel, it has nothing to do with A. It is completely, you could, as a director, you have complete free go to change and do whatever you want, because the Zelda universe is similar to the Doctor Who-esque. You just get redone and change however you want it. As a director, you've got free game as long as you appease the fans enough to keep a somewhat of a, same trend going. So,
yeah, absolutely. Bob says Mass Effect in the chat. I agree.
Yes.
And then Alien Isolation.
Well,
Would be
Alien
good
Isolation
as well.
was based off of Alien, though. So, I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah.
I think...
And then I actually didn't know that.
I think that Predator could be a good video game, because every episode of Predator, you had a new protagonist, and Predator was always the antagonist, the bad guy. Pixie says the Blair Witch Project is the new Blair Witch Project 2016. So, yay. New Blair Witch Project movie coming out. Or new Blair Witch movie. And that is to... Who was it that was saying that the Blair Witch Project, or the Blair Witch would make a great movie?
The forest would be
that's right.
Blair Witch Project. Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, The Forest would be the next Descent.
Yes.
Oh my! No,
Yes.
noping out of here. Bye.
Yes.
I've seen the movie.
The next
Nope.
Descent.
It would. Yes.
It's a great movie.
Which, it would have been great if that had actually replaced the current Descent 2.
I have a great idea for a video game movie. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, just the way it is, could be turned into a movie. The game plays like a movie. What other one? I was To the Moon.
A lot of these games. Oh no, thank you.
Crimson said no, thank you.
You could do Brothers. You could do that. I mean,
that's the thing. They're games where you build a huge emotional attachment that are definitely linear. You can make a movie out of either that, or they would have to.
Oh,
yes.
Chrono Trigger, and Chrono Cross.
Yes.
A couple of upcoming video game movies that I don't think will go over well is Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid are both coming up. I don't think either of those will do well. Now, I mentioned how I said, Halo and Zelda and all that I wanted as video game movies. But there's one video game I've always wanted to see as a movie. I think it would do great, and it's a heart-wrencher in ways. Shadow of Colossus, and it is going to be a movie. It just they haven't announced when it will be, but that game, I won't spoil the game even though it's really old.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh man,
Scion says never get attached.
Never get attached.
See, that's why I would like. That's why I would like an Outlast movie, especially with Outlast 2 coming out. Bob says the audience that only uses those services and don't watch TV usually are gamers in one way or another, and that is to his own post of Netflix and Hulu originals are probably the platform where video game movies / shows could survive. What about
pretty
YouTube
sure I
Red?
already said that.
What about YouTube
No,
Red?
no, YouTube keep its hands out of it.
I mean, we have video game content creators as well as video game producers doing the whole YouTube Red thing. And they're making original content, but they're seeming to put themselves as the protagonist instead of, what is it? I don't want to. I'm not personally insulting or attacking anybody here, but what is it? Scare PewDiePie?
Scare PewDiePie, I think, missed the mark. It wasn't. I watched it. I didn't find it very believable.
Doesn't Syndicate also have something on YouTube Red?
I haven't seen anything from Syndicate. Now, I know Game Theorists has a show that's a little more entertaining because they take games and they see if you could actually do it in real life. So actual cars with big giant balls, playing Rocket League or whatever. But even that, it's it feels uncomfortable to me.
See, I think there is room for a Grand Theft Auto movie. Some way or another. You could go all the way back to London and do a Grand Theft Auto. Once again, the game always has a different protagonist. Grand Theft Auto 5 had 3. But, yes, even Grand Theft Auto Online is its own movie. My eyeball itches something fierce, guys. I'm sorry for touching my eye on stream. I'm just, it itches so bad.
Well, I think with video game movies, we are really talking about every bit of this. But I think with video game movies, it lends itself to have a different setup of movies. Usually, you've got your protagonist and whatnot. There's different ways to make movies. Your tropes, your stereotypes, and all that. With the video game, you can make a movie where you're really the antagonist. You've got all these weird. There's so many weird games that if you made it into a movie, it would just break the normal standard of a movie where, you're the antagonist the entire time, or just kind of these weird loopholes that games can get away with that we haven't tried with movies.
Portal. Portal could be an awesome movie. All 45 minutes of it.
You know what we haven't talked about, as we're running overtime now,
Yeah,
is
it's okay.
the quantum one. What is it called?
Quantum.
Scion, help me.
Quantum.
Scion, help me. You know, the new one that's like a mash between
Quantum
live
Break?
action. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Quantum Break. Yes, that could.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
Truly a mixed medium in that game. I haven't played it yet.
Pushing the boundaries of what we usually would see.
Right. But sadly, we are out of time. I just want to say, Scion, an infamous movie would be amazing. I think a Watch Dogs movie could be good, especially we are in the cyber age. I would love to see a Fallout movie. But we are out of time. We gotta wrap it up. We gotta put it in the bag. We gotta go bye-bye. We got bedtimes. Once again, guys, go check out our brand new Minus the Rumors website at www.minustherumors.com. Big thank you to Crimson Rose for creating such a beautiful, beautiful piece. As well as a big thank you to Linz from Not Quite Nerds. Be sure to check out her on YouTube over at Not Quite Nerds. Or just Google them, or what is it, youtube.com/c/NotQuiteNerdsNet.
Yep.
Not Quite Nerds Net. Her and her brother Dano, they're not as active as they were, but just as good.
You still got 4 a week,
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
4 a week. That's much more than I'm putting out, and Crimson's putting out, and most of us are putting out. I mean, beautiful. We appreciate you being here. Make sure you come back Thursday night for the Minus the Rumors podcast, covering all the latest and greatest in tech news and entertainment. Tech news, gaming news, and entertainment news. There we go. I always miss that third category. Minus the Rumors, where your news matters. I've been since born Ed from Zero Plays Games. Crimson, thank you again for being here tonight.
No problem.
Thank you very much for being here tonight. And I'll see you guys next Monday. I hope to see you Thursday night.